Hey guys, today is November the 30th of 2022, and I want to do a quick update on Nifty 50. Using double gap pricing time technical analysis, using cycles also. There's a lot of things going on in between December and January. And in this video, we're going to go over the Elliott Wave count. We're going to use cycles, spectrum cycles, RSL cycles, look at key levels, look at the Gann squaring of the range, and also look at possible turning points looking at the daily chart. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is the weekly chart, and I'm using data from 2008 and on, and I want to focus on a couple of cycles here that are important on the weekly chart. If you guys been following me, the first one I'm going to show you is the 191. This is the one I've been leaning on for the longest, because this is the strongest in regards to Bartel. It's 95.40, and correlation is good. And this one already peaked, and this cycle is down. So we know this one, the 191, is already bearish. The next one I want to show you, but is not as strong as the 191, is the 381. This is a little bigger in regards to length, but the Bartel is 79.41. It's not as strong, but what's important is that this is peaking towards the last week of December, first week of January. It's about to hit a peak, and then this cycle goes down. So keep that in mind. 381 is about to hit a peak. Remember, price and time, cycles. So keep that in mind. And we know that the 191, this one already is down. The third one is the 87. This one is pretty close in regards to Bartel to the 119 that I'm going to show you, but the strength is pretty good. This one's about to hit a peak somewhere around the second week of January. January the 6th, it hits a peak, and then this cycle goes down. So if we take the 191, which we know that is bearish, this is the 87, and do a composite, of the 381. So those three, this is the kind of cycle that you get: 191 to 381 and 87 down. So that's that. So we're getting, if Nifty 50 is going to follow, we already know 191, this is down. But if it's going to follow the 381, pay attention to price around the last week of December and January. If it's going to follow the 87, pretty much January, the first and second week, keep your eyes on price and volume and see what's happening. Pretty much the last week and the next, the 2 weeks in January, keep very close eye of price action in regards to that. And then the last cycle is the 119. This one is the opposite of all the ones that I showed you, which peaked and are about to hit peaks. This is the opposite. So if the Nifty 50 is going to follow this and it's reflecting price action because it's going higher, so it's in sync, this hits a peak somewhere around December, January of 2024. So this is very bullish. If this is going to follow this, it's going to pull back and it's going to make a higher high, higher low, and it's going to just continue going out. So this is the bullish cycle, 119. The bearish cycle is the 191, and the ones that are getting very toppy is the 381 and the 87. So let's look at the daily to see what clues we could get there. Okay guys, so this is the daily chart, and I'm using data in sample from 2017 all the way to current prices right now. So let's like to use 5 years. This is one of Gann's number, and I just kind of like want to have a system. I just don't want to randomly pick, in sample, out of sample. I just want to kind of be consistent and just kind of see how that plays out, in the analysis on future markets that I do. So that's pretty much 5 years. And there's, you could say there's 3 cycles that are important here. We're going to start out with the first one, the 262 cycle. This one, Correlation is not great, but it is one of the highest in regards to Bartel. And this one is going to be hitting a peak somewhere around, I guess you could say, the last week of December, around there. So keep that in mind while looking at the dates in regards to the weekly. There's a lot of things that are kind of building up what I call clusters. So the last week, so can this continue pushing higher? Yeah. Just watch for the last week and the first 2 weeks of January, and just be looking at it like a hawk. Because if you see a big bear kicker candle and it's around this time frame, now you know that the cycles could be influencing this. The next one will be the 148. Now the 148 in regards to Bartel is pretty high. This one is about to peak around, you could say, pretty much the first week of December. December 6th, around there. It hits a peak, and then this cycle goes down. And then the last one is the 69. This one has a good strength, and the Bartels are pretty high. And this one already peaked. Look at that. It peaked right where they got that nice little bounce right there. Zoom in so you guys can see it, because this is pretty much the battle zone from here to here. And you can see price action. We just hit a peak right there where it pulled back, and now it exploded higher. So this is what you get. Let's do a composite of all three and see what happens, or what do we get. So with the composite of all three, it peaks here, goes down, kind of goes sideways here, and then it pulls back. If we take the 69, which is a more smaller, do a composite of the 262 and the 148, December 12 could be a possible peak. But keep that all in in reference with the weekly. That the weekly cycle is going to be peaking somewhere around December, the last week and the first week of January, first week and second week of January. So keep that in mind. We'll look at seasonalities and see what we could extract from there, and just kind of get some clues in regards to timing. Where could a possible turning point could be coming? Okay, so this is the seasonality. So this is a percent of months in which Nifty closed higher than it opened from 2018 to 2022. So let's see, using the 5-year, you can see that December is pretty strong. October, November, and December are pretty strong. January, remember, January, the second week gets weak or hits a top on the weekly. So keep in mind in that. January, February are very weak within a 5-year average. So let's go to the 10-year. You can see that January and February are weak. December's strong. So, it could even continue going past, not past. It's going to be, this is reflecting that December is going to be very strong. Although October looks like it was the strongest within a 10-year. November was kind of flat, but December's pretty strong. So that's bullish. That's positive. And let's go to the 15 just to get clues. And December is still strong, stronger than October and November. But January is weak. And then the last 20-year, January still remains weak. So it looks like maybe just people just lock in profits. I don't know, taxes or whatever, what goes on in India. You guys know better than I do. But I'm just kind of giving you some clues. And December is still strong. Still strong. One of the strongest months. So you guys get the Christmas rally big time. And your market is way better than our market. We are just tanking, falling off the bed, crapping everywhere. You guys are just making new highs. So you guys, whatever you guys doing in India, I give you guys praise. So that's that for seasonality. Let's look at some other charts and see what we could get regards to clues, regards to timing. Okay, looking at our Elliott chart, I like to look at Elliott Waves and just see where we're at in regards to that technique. You can see that there's a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on 5. The system thinks that this could be a possible wave 5. This is a weekly chart. Now, just in case the system is wrong, it's also projecting a possible wave 5 to 2120, 21207. And this is an extreme. I don't know if it's going to explode that high. 24,937, but that's another potential wave 5 there. So just keep that in mind. The Stokes looks like, you know, it's getting a little toppy here. It's starting to get a little toppy. It's just the beginning point of the Stokes, stochastics. Let's look at the daily and see what we could get out of there. And the daily, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's projecting this could be a possible wave 5. If not, if it's going to push higher, you got 19,326, and this is an extreme. I mean, if it's like, you know, parabolic, 20,91.2, but I doubt it gets up there. Just knowing that some of the daily cycle is about to turn, you know, between December, and then we already know January is kind of very weak. So it's just pretty much being very skillful and very smart and quick, just in case you see a turning point real quick, just lock in profits. I don't know how it is with taxes over there in India and all that. Those are other things that you might know. But it looks like once we hit January, everybody just kind of sells off for some reason. And that's just looking at the seasonality. Let's look at some other key levels. So these little black lines are timing points. December 15th, this is on the daily, and also January 3rd, little timing points that I just have on the chart. We just hit one right here on the last week of November and exploded higher. So you can see this is a wave 5, and these are like possible targets. We're already in here. Now if we could push higher, it'd be like 1884.6 all the way to 1915.4, and all the way from 1946.1. And then this is the weekly. This is a bigger one. That one goes all the way to March in regards to timing points. So that's that. Let's look at it on the weekly. You can see that we're in that area where it could get, you know, a little toppy. But that all remains to be seen. Let's see. Let's add this over here. We even blew through that. Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, just keep your eye on this. And Stokes are getting toppy here. January and February, December and January, where the cycles already, you know, they turn down. But so far, if it's going to push higher, that wave 5, that 1932.6 could be very possible for the month of December. So it's really strong. And it could even push higher all the way to 1946.1. Can it get up there, you know, this range? You know, it could. I don't know. But it's going to be very exhausted. But all the moving averages are positive. It's above all the moving averages, so that's looking good. Let's look at our next chart to see where we could get clues out of there. Okay, so this is my market geometry. We see that we just broke right through here. We're going to do the Fibonacci extensions. The first target will be the 1991 right here. And if it continues, 2071. Let's go to the next chart. Using the Gann speed lines, you see that we had a broke out above this angle. Using the 1/4 is 1945. If we go above there, 2031 will be the next target. And using the Gann angles, very bullish. We found support at the 2x1. And it's sky's the limits. It's open air. So it could continue moving higher, you know, unless the cycles, the daily cycles, take control of it. In regards to the action-reaction lines, you can see there's a little turbulence right here. According to these measured moves, there could be some resistance here. So we can see, let's see how next week, if we kind of stall here and go down, and if we could kind of climb above this angle and continue pushing higher. But this is very cautious right here because we're hitting, you know, action-reaction line levels, which it could affect the Nifty 50 and kind of struggle a little bit here. In regards to the Andrews pitchfork, you can see that we're pretty much good. We're holding this angle, and we're going to be hitting the 25% somewhere around here. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, once we kiss that line, what are we going to do? We're going to, you know, fall back or grind higher and hit the 50% within this angle. This is the 50% adjusted, and you can see that we broke through the 50. That's what I was keeping my eye on. And now if it's going to push higher, we're going to hit the 75%, which is this angle right here. And using Dewey cycles and mirror cycles, the yellow one is a mirror cycle. It topped out right here, and this cycle now is pointing down all the way to December 16th. While the Dewey cycle Interesting enough, it looks like the price action is following the Dewey cycle, and this one, Dewey cycle on average just tops out somewhere around December 26th. Remember, the last week of December, first, second week of January, daily cycles all topped out. So this is kind of like a cluster, what I call. Advanced Gann swing is pointing up, so that's good. The other Gann swing I use is pointing up, so this is all positive, this is all bullish. So price action could continue going higher. Everything is looking good so far here. And this is a Gartley patterns I use, and these are extensions. You know, the next target will be 1892 all the way to 1915, and that's where I think it ends right there. I think that's it for our geometry chart. Let's go to our master chart, and there we will end this video clip and let you guys enjoy your day and your weekend. Okay, so this is the master chart and timing solution. I'm going to first start out. Let's work this easy here. So this is the spectrum analyzer with a different algorithm of the other cycles I was showing you earlier, and this is just only on the daily. And this one is using the RSO algorithm. So you can see that right here, potentially these shorter waves are topping out January, February, and this is a composite of those two. So somewhere around January the 15th, which kind of lines up with the daily cycles. So I'm topping out on the second week of January. So using the RSO relative strength algorithm, you see that things are kind of lining up here. Let's use the other analyzer here and do a composite here. So this one peaked out here. It's pulling back onto January the 3rd. So this one's a little different. So you see these two cycles, they're pointing down while the red one is pointing up. And then in January the 6th around there, then the cycles point up. I don't look, price action is not kind of lining up with this, but I see it like going higher. We know December's strong, and then, January is weak. So this one is not kind of, working out with this one, but I feel like the first one I showed you is kind of in line with all the other stuff I've been showing you. Using the solar cycle peaks somewhere around January the 3rd, which makes sense, knowing that January is weak. So last week, first week of January, just keep your eyes on that. And then neural net. I think I've been saying that November 26th was where it peaked, and actually neural net peaked around October the 25th. So I was saying that wrong. Just so many dates and so much stuff going on in my head. But I wanted to just do a correction there. Neural net was saying there's going to be a peak. Now, what's interesting is that I'm going to give you a little tip on this neural net. So neural net, when I look at these two swing points, I'm looking them as turning points. I'm not looking them for like direction. So neural net said, you know what, watch for the 25th of October and also watch for the, you could say December the 22nd, towards the end of the month, for possible turning points. I used to look at it like for direction. Now I just kind of look at it for turning points. And I've done some analysis in the past, and I've seen that there is some good correlation in regards to turning points with the neural net. So keep an eye, which kind of lines up with the last week of December. Just keep an eye on Nifty 50 and these dates, especially this one in December. Let's take that off. In regards to using the Fourier technique, there's a crossover going on right here, which is December the 1st. So pretty much the first week of December. Keep an eye on that. Fibonacci extension. You got January the 1st. So keep an eye on that, which makes sense. People are just probably selling off. And using it from this range, you see that we have Fibonacci of the 76.4 at 12:18, December 18th. Which I think there's a lot of stuff lining up around the 16th. Gann square, using it from this range to this range, you see we broke above this strong level, and there is an angle going up here around the 1913. But there's a turning point coming around 1214. So be keeping an eye on that. This is from a bigger frame. You can see that we broke above there, and 1223 lines up towards like the last week, end of the week of the month. A possible turning point, and that's the Gann fan. I think that's it in regards to that. And lastly, I want to show you natural cycles. So this is one advanced technique. Look at 10 years in the past, and somewhere around January the 20th to the 26th, it kind of peaked off and then sold off, looking 10 years ago. He also said, look at 20 years ago, and somewhere around, you could say, the last week of December, 26, 28, 29. It peaks, and then Nifty goes down. So those are the two time frames I use on that technique of Gann. So, you know, you kind of get the picture of what I'm just trying to show you. Everything is kind of clustering around December and January with seasonalities, with the daily cycles. We know that, you know, a lot of the weekly cycles are down, and some of them are peaking around January and February. So this is going to be hot right here. And Elliott Wave is saying this is kind of like a fifth wave building up. And if it pushes higher, just trail your stops. And once you get that bear kicker where everybody's getting out, you just get stopped out, and that's it. Be happy. Get what you can get out of the market. In regards to annual, let's take this off. It peaks somewhere around January the 8th. A lot of stuff going up here. There's another peak a little here. December 6th, pulls back annually, and then, you know, it goes all the way up to the 8th. Using the annual and the decimal, you can see that it pulls back somewhere around the 5th, goes down to the 21st, and then it peaks somewhere around. This one goes a little further out. So this forecast is kind of indicating, you know what, it's going to pull back, but we're going to continue going higher into, you know, February or even March. So that remains to be seen. I think that's it for that. I don't want to make this video too long, and if it's too long, I apologize, but I just wanted to give you some data. Man, I'm very excited for you guys in the Indian market. December and January is going to be very pivotal, very pivotal. I've been showing you everything I have in regards to the analysis, so just trail your stop. And once it turns over, and whatever it's going to trigger it from all the stuff that I showed you, you know, once we get to December and January, we're going to see how that's going to play out. And then we're going to look for the evidence, what worked, what kind of was giving us clue that it actually happened and gave us an edge. Hopefully you liked this video. I'll keep you posted on the Nifty 50 using WGAN price and time technical analysis.